there, and thank you for joining me today in this short video about closings and wire transfers. My name is Candice Carr. I'm an attorney with Spectrum Title Services located in the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area. So this morning we're going to take a few minutes to talk about closings and wire transfers and why they're so important, why we use them, and what is the process for initiating, sending, and receiving wire transfers, and also to clear up some common misconceptions about wires. So why do we require a wire with respect to a real estate closing? First of all, the account holders are verified, both the sending account holder and the receiving account holder. That information has been verified by the respective banks. Secondly, they're cleared funds. And with respect to closings, we need to be able to immediately disperse monies upon the closing. We have payoffs to send out, we have seller's proceeds to send out, we have various checks that need to be dispersed, so we need immediate, cleared, usable funds. Speed is one of the reasons why a lot of companies and industries use wire transfers. However, speed does not mean that it's instantaneous. There's a common misconception about the speed of wire transfers, and when somebody sends one, they think that that recipient will have that money within seconds. It doesn't quite work that way, and we'll talk a little bit about the actual process that a wire goes through to get from one end to the other. Lastly, they're reliable. When that correct account information is entered, you know that your money is going to get to the destination where you expect it to get to. So the information that we need from you in order to initiate a wire, for instance, if you're a seller and you want us to wire your proceeds from a closing, this is the information that we need in order to be able to send a wire. We need your bank's name and address. We need the ABA or routing number. And note that this is not always going to be the same routing number that you find on your checks. Sometimes it will be, sometimes it won't be. So this is something you always want to double check with your bank to get their specific wire instructions. We need the account holder's name and address, the full account number, and any additional information that's required by your bank. Sometimes your account is considered a further credit to. We would need the name of that further credit to beneficiary account information. Now here's a little diagram of the process that a wire actually goes through, and this will give you a better idea as to why it's not an instantaneous transfer that happens as soon as somebody clicks a button. The first thing that happens is that the sending bank receives the request from their customer to initiate a wire. This can be done via online banking, this can be done via telephone, in person, or fax requests are the most common methods. Next, the bank is going to verify the identity of that account holder and also verify that those funds are actually available in that account to be sent. So the sending bank then inputs all of the wire instructions into their system, all that information that we just went over on the previous screen, name, account number, etc. So the money leaves the sending bank and goes into this federal clearinghouse. A lot of times you'll hear the term Fed ID number. That's an ID number that's assigned by the Fed when the money goes into this clearinghouse, and it's a way to be able to track the wire when it's in between banks. So from the Fed, the money then goes into the receiving bank's wire room. Now this wire room receives all of the wires that come in, and a lot of times they come in batches. So the receiving bank is going to take all of these wires and they're going to actually manually post them into the accounts in the order that they were received. So if they have 25 wires that have come in a batch, they're going to go through and post that money into each respective account. So now all of these steps give you a better idea as to why it's not an immediate transfer of funds. There are several hands that are involved, and there are several actual transfers that are involved in getting this money from the sending bank into the actual account of the recipient. Now here's some FYIs about wires, and especially the timing. Now, domestic wires can take on average 3 to 4 hours to be posted to the recipient's account. Sometimes we have people send us wires and within 45 minutes we see the funds in our account, but a lot of times it takes 4 hours, so there's no guaranteed time frame, but it's important to note that it's not instantaneous and that it can take several hours to receive wires. International wires are a lot more complicated. They have many more steps, and they take 2 to 3 days to be received. So if you're an international buyer who's going to be sending us money, you need to work on that process several days prior to closing in order for us to have those funds available. On the other side, if you're an international seller and you want us to wire funds to your international account, don't expect to have that money for a few days. Most banks charge to send and receive wires, so don't be surprised if your bank charges you $15, $20, $35 fee to initiate a wire. And also, if you want us to send wires to you, there's a fee that will be assessed for that. Now, we more than often receive incorrect instructions, missing digits in account numbers, and incorrect routing number, and this causes the wire to be kicked back to us. If the receiving bank can't properly post it, then they'll send it back to the sending bank, and we have to start the process all over again. So it's critical that you provide accurate wire instructions if you're going to be receiving wires from us. So thanks again for listening. I really appreciate you joining me here today, and I hope this cleared up some misconceptions and or questions you may have had regarding wires, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Have a great day.